Look at the chaos. Look at the anger. You think this is just politics. No, this is a crime scene. A crime committed 50 years ago by 3 men. The president, the enforcer, and the banker. They didn't use guns. They used a signature. And in one secret meeting, they stole your future before you were even born. They control the banks. They control the government. But on August 14th, 1971, they decided to steal the world. Inside a rustic lodge in the Maryland mountains, the most powerful men on Earth are sitting in the dark, watching a movie. They are watching The Sicilian Clan, a film about a jailbreak, a hijacking, a heist. It was the perfect choice, because while the actors on screen were stealing diamonds, the men in the room were finalizing the greatest theft in human history. They didn't use guns. They used a pen. They didn't steal your money. They stole its value. And they did it by severing the one thing that kept the American government honest: gold. We call it the Nixon Shock. History books call it a new economic policy. But if you look at the forensic evidence, it was a default. And you are still paying the debt. To understand the crime, you have to understand the bunker. Camp David, August 13th, 1971. President Nixon summons his Economic War Council. But this wasn't a summit. It was a panic room. Upon arrival, the orders were absolute. Total communications blackout. The telephone lines were cut. The masters of the free world were physically severed from reality. Why? Because the United States of America was bankrupt. For 27 years, the U.S. promised the world that every dollar was worth 1/35 of an ounce of gold. But America had lied. They printed more paper than they had gold. And on August 11, the bluff was called. The British ambassador, the Earl of Cromer, showed up at the Treasury. He didn't ask for dollars. He asked for the gold, specifically $3 billion worth. Paul Volcker, the man who understood the plumbing, knew the truth. He said, "The game is over." If they paid the British, the French would be next. The vault would be empty by Tuesday. Nixon had 2 choices. 1, admit the U.S. had overspent, raise interest rates and cause a recession. 2, change the rules of the game. Nixon was haunted by a ghost, the ghost of 1960. He believed he lost the presidency to JFK because the Federal Reserve had made money too tight. He had a rosebud trauma. Never again would he let a recession cost him an election. He didn't care about the long-term stability of the dollar. He cared about November 1972. He needed an enforcer. He found one in Treasury Secretary John Conway, a man who famously told the Europeans, "The dollar is our currency, but it's your problem." Inside that lodge, Connolly bullied the academics. He crushed the dissenters. He convinced the president to do the unthinkable, to default on the American promise, to tell the world that the gold was gone.
Crimes leave fingerprints. Economic crimes leave charts. If you want to see the exact moment the American dream was murdered, you don't look at a law book. You look at this graph.
From 1948 to 1971, the deal was simple. You worked harder, you produced more, you got paid more. Productivity and wages grew in lockstep. It was a mathematical contract, a mirror. And then the scissors opened. Post-1971, technology exploded. Computers, the internet, AI. American workers became the most productive humans in the history of our species, but their wages dead on arrival. The gap between what you make and what you take is the heist. That purple void on the chart, that is trillions of dollars transferred from your pocket to the people who were closest to the money printer. Economists call this the Cantillon Effect. It's a fancy name for a simple scam. Money is not neutral. When the government prints new money, it doesn't rain down on everyone equally. It flows to the first receivers, the banks, the government, the defense contractors.
They get the money before inflation. You get the money after inflation. They buy assets. You pay higher prices. Nixon didn't just break the gold standard. He built a treadmill, put the middle class on it, and cranked the speed to maximum. Let's strip away the illusion of the dollar. Let's look at the world through the only lens that doesn't lie: gold. In 1971, a brand-new Ford Mustang cost about $3,000. With gold at $35 an ounce, that car cost you 85 ounces of gold. Today, that same car costs $40,000.
But wait, gold is now $4,500 an ounce. Do the math. $40,000 divided by 4,500 is 9 ounces of gold.
In real terms, the car got cheaper. Technology made it 80% cheaper to produce. So why does it feel impossible to afford? Because you are paying in a currency that is bleeding to death. The car didn't get more expensive. Your money became worthless. This is the kill shot. In 1971, a single income, often a high school graduate, could buy the median American home for about 2.4 times their annual salary. Today, in cities like Los Angeles or Miami, it takes 10 times your salary. We call it the two-income trap. They told you it was liberation. In reality, it was a necessity. Post-1971, the family needed 2 incomes just to maintain the standard of living that one income used to provide. We are running twice as fast to stay in the same place.
Sunday, August 15, 1971. The meeting breaks. The movie The Sicilian Clan finishes. In the film, the thieves execute the heist. They try to escape the dragnet. Nixon, Connolly, and Volcker walked out of that lodge, and they succeeded. Footage of Nixon's address on the TV screen. He is smiling, reassuring. Listen closely. Your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today. He lied. He knew it. They all knew it. They traded the long-term prosperity of the future for a short-term political boom. And the bill has finally come due.
Look at the debt clock. It's spinning so fast the numbers blur. Zoom out. That isn't a clock. It is the bars of a prison cell. And inside the cell is you. We are no longer citizens of a republic. We are tenants of a debt colony, a system designed to strip mine your time, your labor, and your life, converting it into paper that dissolves in your hands. The screen cuts to black. Silence. The gold window is still closed, and they have the only key.